working life. Try not to hit the stage. Thank you.
Yeah, you have to press well.
Shaking, every little movement, I see that.
I'm looking out at a sea of flags, of faces, of people who joined together in solidarity. And I am deeply moved as the lights from the screens around us reflect upon all of you, reflect upon all of me. And I'm mostly moved because the light, the or that all of you are bringing is reflecting upon my heart. My name is Yuval David, or here in America, Yuval David. But I come to you speaking from a place of deep trauma, of deep grief. Like you, I am overwhelmed. From despair to determination, from grief to resilience, from trauma to action, I lean upon our nation, on the Jew that I was educated to be, on the Israeli that I was taught to be, on creating the worlds that I was promised, to say, Am Israel Chai, to say that the nation of Israel lives. As the tears stream down my face, I think of the 32 friends, colleagues, and acquaintances of mine who were brutally slaughtered. 32 individual people, some entire families. And I tremble. And I take action, but I take action as people say, Yuval, even my mother, Ziva, she says, Yuval, you must be afraid. Be careful with what you're doing. And I say to her, you fought in the Yom Kippur War. You fought in wars for Israel. Your parents, my grandparents, were heroes of the Holocaust, and they fought for our people. And today, I fight for our people. So yes, when people ask me if I'm afraid to stand up and speak out, I say yes. Yes, I am afraid, and that is why I stand up and speak out. I am afraid for our people, but I am empowered by our people because we are here. We are together. We are unified. The achdut that we need, the strength of our nation, is when we rise up together. We no longer can be the Jews trembling in the shadows. We know what has happened to us then, and we know what is happening to us now. We have 1,400 people who were brutally slaughtered, massacred. We have over 150 people who were kidnapped, and Hamas has told us it's 200. We are receiving our news and our information from those who tried to kill us, from those who tried to destroy us, but we are giving them the information now. We are here. We are stronger than you. We are braver than you, and we will not stop fighting. We are going to rescue our hostages. And if you dared lift another finger against our people, believe us, we will lift more than a finger against you. When the Hamas attack first happened that Saturday, I quickly learned of one friend who was killed in a shootout trying to defend his family. He did not survive. His family did not survive. Soon, I learned of a friend of mine at the concert, a peace festival. She was a peace activist. She did not survive. And on Sunday, I said, every Israeli I know either knows somebody, has a loved one, family or friends who were killed, who were injured, who were abducted or missing. And within the coming days, we said that every Israeli who knows somebody, or maybe there's 1 degree of separation, they know somebody who has a loved one. Within the coming days, that degree of separation was gone. Now, just about every single Israeli I know and love has lost family, friends, colleagues, and we are praying for those who are kidnapped. We still do not know what has happened to some of them. So when we say thoughts and prayers, that is not enough. We need to gather together like we are here. We need to lift up our phones and record and share information because we see the hate speech. Even as I walked here to Times Square, somebody yelled at me, "You effing Jew." And they said, "Free Palestine." And I said, you know what? You're right. Free Palestine from Hamas. So when they try to change our narrative, when they try to fill social media with hate speech, we will fill social media with more speech. Pull out your phones, record your messages, send your messages to our people to empower them, to the people who are afraid to wear the Magen David on their chest and in their heart. There is a pandemic of anti-Semitism happening in the world. People called out saying anti-Semitism is the canary in the coal mine. When anti-Semitism rises, we know that worse things are yet to come. Well, you know what? The coal mine blew up. The canary is dead. We have been calling out for help. We have been asking for solidarity. And time again, we are left alone. We can no longer be left alone. So if you are a true human rights activist, you will stand up against Hamas. If you truly believe in civil rights and social justice, you will stand up against Islamic jihad, and you will stand with us. Am Israel Chai. I am both Israeli and American, a citizen of two democracies that I am deeply proud of, because in our countries, we all have the right to speak up and to take action. We also have the responsibility as citizens to rise up, to support our governors, to support our senators, to support our officials, and also to support our military. And in Israel, we rise up to support Tzahal, who bravely, including the reserve soldiers, bravely rise up to fight for our people, to defend our people, and to bring them home. I now, from the bottom of my heart, would like to invite two very special friends who, like me, use creativity to inspire. It is Gilad Paz, the Israeli-American vocalist, an amazing singer who's going to sing the U.S. national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner. And my friend Shiri Maimon, Israeli singer and mother who left her children just earlier in Israel to come here and join us to sing Hatikva, the Israeli national anthem, which so beautifully means Hatikva, the hope of our people, the hope for a brighter and better future. The hope is up to us. Please welcome Gilad Paz and Shiri Maimon.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you, the United States of America.
כל עוד בלב בנימה נפש יהודי הומיה ולפתי מזרח קדימה עין לציון צופיה עוד לא אבדה תקוותנו התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים.
Am Israel Chai. As I hear the chants of Am Israel Chai, I think it makes me cry even more, but these are tears of empowerment. I'm so thankful for the Israeli-American Council for bringing me here, having me join you as we join all together in solidarity. And I would like to invite somebody very, very special to the stage now. Ilan Kar, the CEO of the Israeli-American Council, who also is the former U.S. Special Envoy for combating anti-Semitism. To represent our people, we must fight against those who hate us. And to represent our people, as Ilan does, we must celebrate who we are. Ilan Kar.
Thank you for being here at this urgent time. I want to thank UJA Federation and the JCRC and the many, many organizations that co-sponsored with us today. It is my distinct privilege and honor to bring to the stage a true leader of the United States of America and a true leader of the Jewish people. From the 9th Congressional District, he was elected to the United States Senate some 25 years ago, and he was elected a few years ago as the United States Senate Majority Leader. But beyond his remarkable leadership for our country, Senator Chuck Schumer has been indefatigable in standing with the Jewish people and standing with the State of Israel. He points out that the name Schumer comes from the Hebrew Shomer, Shomer Israel, guardian of the Jewish people. That is a role he takes very seriously and one that he carries with him through everything he does. My friends, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome United States Senate Majority Leader, Senator Charles Schumer.
Bring them home. 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 Thank you so much for being here. In every generation, they have risen to afflict us. And the evil, vicious, vile Hamas has done it now. But we know, in every generation, we fight back until we win. As you know, I was in Eretz Yisrael this weekend. I sat with 12 families who had their loved ones held as hostage by the vicious and brutal Hamas. I went with 4 other senators. We cried together for an hour. They told us their stories. They showed us the evilness of Hamas. As they hurt their loved ones, they sent them videos on their loved ones' cell phones. We saw a 12-year-old boy being ripped away from his parents and led away by these awful, vicious terrorists. We saw a mother being torn away from her medicine and her children, a grandmother. We met the cousins of a brave New Yorker, Omer Nutra, from Long Island, who is held hostage. And we vowed in that room outside of Tel Aviv that we would do everything we can and get our great country, the United States of America, to do everything we could to bring them home, to bring them home, to bring them home. I felt I had to go to Israel. I'm the highest-ranking Jewish elected official ever in America. I am the first Jewish majority leader. And as Elam mentioned, Hashem has given me a name. Shomer. That's what Schumer means. Guardian, watchman, Shomer Yisrael. And as we know, the great tradition of Israel is to fight for every one of its citizens when they are in danger, no matter how daunting the task ahead. We have now, I sat down with the other senators, with the President Biden, who has done a great job for Israel. We discussed all the ways we are working, many of which are classified, which we cannot talk about, to bring the hostages home. We must do that. And when I went to Israel, the first thing I said is, Israel, America has your back. We will not abandon you. We will not leave you. We will fight with you side by side until the threat of Hamas is totally eliminated and every hostage is brought home. The pain we feel is enormous. I feel it every day, every hour. I see the pictures of these beautiful people, children, little babies, old people. And all that does is redouble our desire to fight. Hamas, by being as vicious and brutal as they were, thought they could frighten the Israelis into submission, thought that they could frighten the rest of the world not to stand by Israel. But it has done just the opposite. By taking the hostages, it has made us stand stronger and closer to Eretz Yisrael. So I want to say to the dear families here, we share your pain. Every one of us knows what has happened. I was told that what happened at Be'eri, the kibbutz, where they took 100, they herded 100 Jews who were residents of Be'eri into their recreation room, and whether it was elderly people or little babies, these horrible, horrible, horrible vicious terrorists shot them all. It reminded me of a story of my family. My great-grandmother was a well-known person because her late husband was a rabbi in the town of Chortkiv, in then Galicia, now Ukraine. They told my great-grandmother when the Nazis came in 1941 to gather her family on the porch, and 33 people gathered from 88 years old to 3 months. The Nazis said, "You're coming with us." She said, "We're not going." They shot every one of them down. We know what it is like to have people, always anti-Semites, vicious people, go after the Jews. In every generation, they have risen to afflict us, as the Haggadah says. But in every generation, we fight back. My friends, my late father passed away 2 years ago. He had a tough life, but he taught me 2 values. Number 1, always help people who need help. If there were ever people who needed help, it's those beautiful hostages, those beautiful people. But the second lesson he taught me is this. He said, if you're doing something important, look in your heart, make sure it's the right thing to do. And once you're sure it is, persist and persist and persist, and God will reward you and you will succeed. To free the hostages, we will persist and persist and persist. We will never give up. We will get them free. We will do everything we can for them, because we know no matter what they try to do to us, in America and in Eretz Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai. The people Israel live.
Thank you, Senator. Am Yisrael Chai. The unspeakable horror visited upon the men and the women and the children, far too many children, began on a Shabbat morning less than 2 weeks ago. Do you know what Shabbat is about? Jews observe Shabbat in order to sanctify God's creation. What a stark contrast with these agents of hell itself, genocidal sadists who turn the sacred into the profane, who celebrate not life but engage in an orgy of blood and death, who commit cruelty for the sake of cruelty. No cruelty is too barbarous for them. Murdering children in front of their parents, burning people alive, decapitating babies. Unimaginable, despicable cruelties visited upon our people in a marauding rampage of genocide against the Jewish people in the Jewish homeland. But you know what? They were not content. They were not content to commit mass murder. They were not content even to leave 1,400 families shattered and bereaved forever. They were not content to leave 4,600 people wounded, forever struggling to recover from their wounds. That was not sufficient, because all of that still means that their crimes can't continue day after day and minute after minute. And so in addition to that, they dragged 200 innocent people into the hell of Hamas captivity. Look at the faces. Babies, beautiful children with smiles of innocence on their face. Women brutalized and scarred. Men, the elderly. They did it, do you know why? So that their crimes would not end. So that they could continue to violate our people. so that minute after minute and hour after hour they could continue to brutalize Jews. Because the families who have their loved ones in captivity in Gaza are suffering unfathomable agony. Every moment of the day is agony. After they saw the despicable cruelty that was done, they are agonized at what their loved ones are undergoing. Do you know what agony means? Let me tell you. One father of a beautiful 8-year-old girl, after many hours of her being absent and missing, was told that they found his girl and that she was dead. His first reaction was, thank God. Could you imagine what would prompt a father to respond that way to the news of the death of his child? That is the agony that these families are being made to suffer every day. It is a crime against humanity every minute that they are held in Gaza. And that's why we are here. Yes, to mourn the dead. Yes, to be outraged. Yes, to demand that Israel has the inalienable right to defend itself decisively and to eliminate the genocidal threats facing its people. But we are here today to stand with them. To stand with them in one voice. Shoulder to shoulder, arm in arm. To say that we will not stand for this. That we demand that they be brought home. And so, Ronen and Orna, Moshe, Yael, Mika, I promise you, we will never forget Omer and Meiran and Idan. We will never forget these faces on this screen. And we will never forgive the monsters that are putting you through this. My friends, this is so important because when we stand here shoulder to shoulder and arm, we comfort each other, we comfort them. But we also send a message that will be heard throughout New York City, throughout the United States of America, throughout the world, that the Jewish people and that all of humanity stands together in outrage and will do everything we can to free these captives. May God turn their darkness into light and return them, please God, safe and whole into your arms. My friends, it is an honor and a privilege. Bring them home. Bring them home. Bring them home. My friends, it is my deep privilege to call to the stage a friend and a leader, the former Minister of Strategic Affairs of the State of Israel and the current permanent representative of Israel to the United Nations, Ambassador Gilad Erdan.
Friends, brothers, sisters, Israel has experienced an atrocity that will never be forgotten. We experienced the Jewish people's darkest day since the Holocaust. Savage Hamas terrorists massacred 1,400 innocents, exterminating families and entire communities. But their atrocities don't end here. They abducted 200 of our loved ones to Gaza, mothers and their babies, babies without their mothers, elderly grandparents, and entire families taken hostage. Today, dear friends, every Jew around the world is feeling unbearable pain. But the agony that we are suffering pales to the darkness that the hostages' families are enduring. The treasure of their lives abducted to hell on earth. What these hostages are feeling is unfathomable. Alone, terrified, tortured. We've all seen what these savages are capable of. It is unimaginable, truly unimaginable. So many in Israel and around the globe have dropped everything to help in any way that they can, to help bring our children home. This is our top priority, and we will not stop until we bring them home. Tragically, the United Nations is still looking away from our pain. It still ignores the suffering of our loved ones brutally held in Gaza. But we are going to change this together. We will remind the UN that it was established in the wake of the Holocaust to prevent atrocities like this. We will remind the UN that its purpose is to implement the oath of never again. And friends, this is a never again moment. And the UN must join our efforts. Tomorrow, dear friends, the UN Secretary General will visit the Rafah crossing in Gaza. Right now, sadly, tragically, it seems that his top priority is giving aid to the terrorists who abducted our loved ones. Shame on him! Shame on him! Shame on him! If the Secretary General truly cares about humanitarian needs, our hostages must be his top priority. We demand that they be his top priority. Friends, I will bring soon families of the hostages to the Security Council with me, to have the ambassadors look them in the eyes to see their pain. The Security Council will know that until our hostages are returned, it will not have a moment of quiet. Gaza will not have a moment of quiet. Gaza will not have a moment of quiet until we bring them home. And we will bring them home. Israel will prevail. Am Israel Chai. And now, I would like to invite Orna and Ronen Nutra, parents of Omer, who was taken hostage by Hamas on October 7th.
Shalom lekulam. Good evening. We speak today on behalf of the families of 200 Israelis who have been abducted and believed to be held by Hamas. We are Ronen and Orna Nutra. We live on Long Island, and we are proud dual citizens of the United States and Israel. Our beloved son, Omer Nutra, was born in New York City and turned 22 years old just this Saturday. He was raised within the Jewish and the Israeli communities on Long Island, a graduate of Schechter School of Long Island, and a regional president of his youth group, USY. He grew up loving both his homeland, America, and the land of Israel, with a lot of passion. He was the captain of his school basketball. He was the captain of the volleyball. He was the captain of the soccer teams. He was an avid fan of the NBA and the NFL. A born leader, a great son, a friend, a passionate, giving person.
After graduating high school, Omer was accepted to Binghamton University, but he decided to first take a gap year in Israel and connect with our family roots there. During this year, he attended a Mechina leadership program together with his Israeli peers. They immersed themselves in learning about the different parts of Israeli society. They met, spoke, volunteered, and learned with diverse communities. Omer developed a strong and meaningful connection, especially with his Israeli peer group. He was signed up for college, but felt that he had to make a choice. He struggled deeply with his choice. As a descendant of Holocaust survivors on both sides of his family, he developed a heightened sense of the importance of a strong Israel, not only for Israelis, but for Jewish peoplehood. He personally could go back and continue with his plans, but he felt obligated to support his new friends and do what they were obligated to do.
He decided to stay in Israel and do his share in serving and protecting the people of Israel. He officially made Aliyah through Nefesh B'Nefesh, joined Garin Tzabar, and drafted to the IDF as a lone soldier in the Armored Corps. In his most recent position, he was stationed on a post on the border with Gaza. His mission was only to protect the residents around the kibbutzes, as well as the territorial integrity of the sovereign state within its borders. He never took part in an armed conflict. We last spoke to Omer on Friday night, October 6th. In our last conversation, he indicated he was looking forward for a quiet, peaceful weekend after a stressful month protecting the border. Omer is now considered to be held by Hamas together with over 200 hostages, soldiers, civilians, infants, children, wounded, elderly, and frail whole families.
We are heartbroken. We are worried. But we are focused and resolute in doing everything within our power to bring Omer back. Our family is deeply grateful for the outpouring of support we have received from so many elected officials, especially President Biden. We have heard from many members of Congress, as well as state and local elected officials. Your support means so much to us. And we know you're doing everything within your power to bring Omer and the hostages home. From the bottom of our heart, we thank you. Omer has deep roots both in Israel and the United States. All that is happening just intensifies the feeling that we are all one mishpacha, one family. We are so grateful for all the support we are receiving.
We are urging the Hamas leaders. We have seen the video shared with the abducted dual citizen Mia Shem. It shows that you've been treating her well. We ask you to continue to treat Omer well and the rest of the hostages. We ask you to show us that you have Omer and the others, and that he's okay. We want to see him.
And to Omer, we know that you're alive and strong and are doing what you can to support the other hostages. We pray for your swift return together with all of them. Thank you.
Am Yisrael Chai.
So, I've been notified that more and more of us have been gathering here in Times Square Those of you who can see this ocean of people who've joined together in solidarity, it's an amazing sight that so many of us need, especially the families of those who are still abducted and held hostage. So I now ask all of you, especially those in the front, to gently and carefully move forward ever so slightly. There are more people who are trying to join us here in this square. There are more people who are joining us in solidarity. We thank every Jew and ally who's joined us here. Please step gently forward and let's gather together as an even tighter, unified people.
Sometimes I wonder where I've been, who I am, do I fit in? Make believing is hard alone out here on my own. We're always proving who we are, always reaching for that rising star to guide me far and shine me home out here on my own. When I'm down and feeling blue, I close my eyes so I can be with you. Oh, baby, be strong for me. Baby, belong to me. Help me through. Help me, I need you. Until the morning sun appears, making light of all my fears. I dry the tears I've never shown out here on my own. But when I'm down and feeling blue, I close my eyes so I can be with you. Oh, baby, be strong for me. Baby, belong to me. Help me through. Help me, need you. Sometimes I wonder where I've been, who I am, do I fit in? I may not win, but I can't be thrown out here on my own. Out here on my own. Thank you.
We have friends, we have allies, but then we have champions. One of those champions is Mayor Eric Adams of New York City. From a police officer who put his life on the line to keep New Yorkers safe, to borough president to state senator, and now to the 110th mayor of New York City. Eric Adams has been a champion for the cause of the Jewish people in New York and around the world. He has led the fight against anti-Semitism in New York and around the world. He has stood up for Israel throughout New York and around the world. And believe me, I've been with him around the world. He stands for Israel wherever he goes. And so we're so proud. He unfortunately couldn't be here. He has a conflict. So proud to be able to present this video that he specially made for this occasion.
In 1955, the African American community experienced one of the most painful moments in our pursuit of justice. We were reminded of the ugliness of hate when a mother named Mamie Till lost her son to an inhumane beating at the hands of two racist men. His name was Emmett Till. Emmett was the victim of a brutal, hateful attack that left him dead and disfigured. And his mother had the courage to have an open casket funeral. That act forced the entire world to confront the evil of racism. This is an Emmett Till moment. It takes a lot of courage to show the faces of innocent civilians in captivity who are in great danger because of an act of hate, and to show the atrocities that were inflicted on innocent people. I want to thank the families who have the courage to share these beloved faces and images with the world. I also want to thank the Israeli American Council for the work you are doing to advocate for the safe return of our brothers and sisters being held hostage by Hamas. Hamas's despicable actions have created an atmosphere where innocent lives have been lost and others remain in danger. Of the many important steps on the journey towards peace, the dismantling of Hamas and terrorist organizations must be a crucial part. In the name of all that is right, in the name of all that is just, every one of the hostages must be safely returned to their families and their homes. These are our sisters, our brothers, our grandparents, our children. And the road to peace begins with their release. Let me be clear. New York City stands for humanity both here and abroad. Here in the heart of the city that is home to the most diverse population in the world, our voices rise and cascade as we call for the safe return of our Jewish brothers and sisters and pray for all the innocent lives lost in this war. This is a painful time for our city, for our country, for the world. As I have stated, we are not all right. Let's continue to look out for each other and lift each other up in prayer. Let us pray for all those who have lost family and loved ones. Let us pray for the safe return of those captured. And let us pray for a peaceful resolution to this conflict.
Good evening. It is wonderful to look out at this crowd. Please join me in thanking the most incredible mayor that we have in this country, Mayor Eric Adams. He has been our comforter-in-chief. He has been our defender-in-chief. And we are incredibly grateful, and we will never forget how he has shown up for us in this moment. We know that how we act right now will be remembered for generations. It will be remembered by the world, and it will be remembered by our children. And look how each of you showed up. Look how we have been showing up. And as we fight for our lives, and as we think about the future of our people and of our nation, at the same time, we can never lose sight of the individual stories. You are about to hear from Moshe Levi about his brother Omri. Moshe, I am asking you to please share one message with your family. We know the names of the hostages. We know their stories. We know their faces. They're in Times Square. They're in our synagogues. They're in our schools. They're in our prayers. We know their names. We will never forget their names, and we will continue to tell their stories. And please know, please tell your families that this community, the New York Jewish community, and all of our friends here tonight will do everything we can to bring them home. Moshe, thank you for being with us tonight, and thank you for speaking about Omri.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank anybody who was involved in organizing this event. I wish we all met under different circumstances. My name is Moshe. I was born and raised in Sderot. I'm an Israeli citizen. I'm hardly a New Yorker. I just moved here a month ago. A month ago, I was sitting with my family in Sderot. We're having dinner together, laughing together, not imagining that a month later, our life is going to be different. Omri, my brother-in-law, the loving husband of my sister, the loving father of my two baby nieces, only 2 years old and 6 months old, was abducted and taken to the Gaza Strip. I learned of this on that Saturday, dark Saturday, October 7th, a day we will never forget, a day that is going to be marked in our hearts for the rest of our lives. It's going to be marked in the hearts of every Israeli, every Jewish, and I hope every human being in this world who has a conscience. Because the vile acts committed against my family, my friends, my community in Sderot, in all the kibbutzim around Sderot, in Otef Aza, against every citizen of Israel cannot be forgotten. I'm here to serve as a voice for my brother-in-law Omri and my sister Lishai, and they wanted me to tell their story of that day. They were living in Nahal Oz, a place that they just moved over a year ago, a place where they were going to build a new house and enter that house within a few months. They married in September 2022, brought to this world two beautiful daughters, Roni and Alma, and their life was shattered on October 7th. Hamas terrorists and their accomplices violently entered their home, using a teenager from Nahal Oz, the kibbutz they were living in, so that they'll open the door. That teenager was shot dead. He was found in a field with his mother. After they entered the door, they went into the house, they ravaged it, they handcuffed Lishai, my sister, Omri. They were abusing, they were mocking, they were torturing their gentle souls. They were waking up their daughter with a gun pointed at her face, a 2-year-old who will forever remember this. They later on grouped them with other families. Not everyone made it out alive from that house. I'm thankful that my sister and two baby nieces did, but I know it was a lottery. It was a decision of a second whether they'll be dead or alive, whether they'll be taken hostage in the Gaza Strip or left behind. They were left behind, but Omri was taken. This entire scene, taken from a horror film, was live streamed on the Facebook of one of the family members for the whole world to see. We haven't heard from Omri since that dark Saturday. Eventually, my sister and two nieces, alongside a few others, were rescued by the IDF. I myself served in the IDF for 6 years. I was serving on the Israel-Gaza border. I know that place like the palm of my hand. I know how brave those soldiers were, and I know how brave my sister was, and brave my nieces were, and everyone who made it out from there, everyone who experienced that terror. And since then, all of us, I'm from here, because my family asked me to stay here and be a voice for my sister, and my sister from home, and my entire family, the entire community, are being heroes. Heroes of Israel, heroes of the sane world, the world with conscience. Please remember their names. Please remember the names. Recite the names of every person held captive in the Gaza Strip, whether Israeli or a foreign national, because there are plenty foreign nationals who were taken there. Remember all of them and pray for them. Think of them when you meditate. Meditate with their faces in your hearts and minds. And be with us, because we need you to stay strong, to speak to the world, to not be ashamed of being Jewish, to not be ashamed of being Israeli, and to make sure Omri and everyone else who will return to us, make sure that in a few months I could go back home and have one more dinner with him, and one more dinner with a happy family, and not one that was destroyed because of brutal, vicious, evil monsters who call themselves Hamas, call themselves the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, or any other organization. I'll finish this with a reformed version of a prayer that I cherish. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. Thank you.
It was important for me to come here tonight, all the way from Israel, and sing on this stage. Our hearts are broken, but they won't break our spirits. So thank you for your support. It means so much.
כשהלכת, הכאב שבי קיבל שוב משמעות. איך ויתרת על האושר בקלות. אם תחזור, נרוץ בין הפרחים. כשהלכת, איך נתת לי ליפול אל התהום. איך לקחת את האור אותו היום. אם תחזור, אתן לך חיים. ואם אתה רואה, מצאתי אהבה, גם אם זה לא אתה. שומעת את קולך, שומעת הבטחה, ואת הכל לקחת לי. בינתיים יושבת מחכה, לוחשת רק לך, חזור אליי בבקשה. כשהלכת, לא ידעתי עוד אחר יותר קרוב. מנסה ללמוד שוב מה זה לאהוב. אם תחזור. ואם אתה רואה מצאתי אהבה, גם אם זה לא אתה, אני שומעת את קולך, שומעת הבטחה, ואת הכל לקחת לי. בינתיים יושבת מחכה, לוחשת רק לך, חזור אליי בבקשה. כשהלכת, הכאב שבי קיבל שוב משמעות. תודה רבה.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. My name is Aviv Ezra. I'm the acting Consul General of Israel to New York. And I want to thank all of you on behalf of the State of Israel for standing with us today, for embracing us, for sending a message that we will not be quiet until they come back home. Bring them home. Bring them home. Bring them home.
Bring them home. Bring them home. Bring them home. Bring them home. Bring them home.
My friends, these are dark days for Israel. But from the depth of darkness, we are rising up. We are fighting back. And we will prevail. In this time of hardship and darkness, something has become crystal clear about the Jewish people. We are one, we are united, and we are in this together. Brothers and sisters, our hearts are broken, but the unity of our people is unbreakable. Make no mistake. Make no mistake. Hamas are war criminals for murdering 1,400 innocent civilians. They are war criminals for injuring 4,500 Israelis, and they are war criminals for kidnapping 200 civilians, and they are also war criminals, don't forget, for continuing firing rockets as we speak. 7,000 rockets on Israel. What will America do if 7,000 rockets will fall on this city? This is our September 12th. And no one will restrain Israel. No one will restrain Israel. Hamas will pay the ultimate price because they miscalculated big time. And they have awakened the lion, and they will pay the price. Now with a message to the dear families that are here. We embrace you. We hug you. We want to tell you that we are committed to bring back all of them now. But this is the message that I want to highlight to the families. You are not alone. The State of Israel is with you. You are not alone. The people of Israel is with you. You are not alone. America is with you. You are not alone. Congress is with you. Senators, members of Congress, mayors, governors that are in Israel right now from this great state of New York. And you are not alone, because this public right here is with you and is sending a message that we will never leave you alone. You are not alone, and together we will bring them back. Bring them back. Bring them back. Bring them back. Ladies and gentlemen, Erdan Alexander, 19 years old, from Tennessee, New Jersey, abducted October 7th by the terror organization of Hamas and taken to Gaza. I would like now to call upon his mother Yael and his sister Mika and recognize his brother Roy that is here, and to ask them to come up to the podium.
Hello, my name is Mika Alexander. I'm 17, and I am the younger sister of Erdan Alexander, an IDF soldier who is now being held captive by Hamas in the Gaza Strip. Erdan, like me, went to high school there in New Jersey. We are Israeli and American, and we love both of our countries. After high school, Erdan surprised us and decided to travel to Israel and serve in the IDF. As his younger sister, who is always looking up to him, I could not have been prouder. Here he was, dedicating his life to the protection of our people. The last time I spoke to Erdan was when he visited the U.S., and I pray for the day that I will be able to see him and speak with him and laugh with him again. My family and I need your help. Alongside more than 200 others, Erdan is being held as a hostage in Gaza. We cannot forget him. I am asking you, actually, I am pleading with you, please don't forget Erdan or any of the other hostages. You can help us. You can talk about the hostages. You can pray for them. You can write to your to local media about them, and you can lobby your government officials to work to secure their release. My brother cannot hear us now, but if he could, he would be proud of you, all knowing that you are here fighting on his behalf. וזה באמת מהלב. עידן, אם אתה רואה את זה, איפה שאתה, בבקשה תחזור הביתה. כל המשפחה מחפשת אותך, ואנחנו עושים את כל מה שאנחנו יכולים כדי להחזיר אותך חזרה הביתה. עם ישראל חי.
Thank you.
Just like so many of you are standing out there in this massive crowd, hugging each other, sharing tears, and saying we must be strong, we too, right here, are doing the same thing. I now would like to invite Noam Gilboard, the interim CEO at the JCRC, the Jewish Community Relations Council of New York. Noam, please join us.
We are here today in Times Square in New York City because this is not just any other landmark. This is the media capital of the world. There are cameras all over, and they are picking up our message. They are picking up our voices. They are looking at the sea of blue and white that I see out there. They are capturing all the images of the captured citizens of Israel that you are holding up right now. And from here, at this place, Hamakom Hazeh, we are calling out because we are in pain. We want the world to know that we are in pain. They should hear our cries. Our leaders should hear our cries. 8 months ago, I led a delegation to Israel for members of the New York State Assembly. And we went to Kibbutz Kfar Aza. We had lunch in the cafeteria. We ate their food. We went to their homes. And for a few moments, some of the members of our New York State Assembly played basketball on the basketball court with some of the kids. I don't know what has happened to those kids. I don't know what has happened to their families. And it pains me to think about it when I put my own children to bed every night. You've heard a lot today about the suffering that we are going through and the resilient community that we are. So I want to change my message a little bit, and I want to talk not to you. I want to send a message to all of the people who are not here today. I'm very glad that we have leaders like Mayor Adams, like Senator Schumer, like Senator Gillibrand, and many, many others who have publicly spoken up to bring them home. They have publicly spoken up and condemned Hamas for terrorism, and they have publicly spoken up affirming Israel's right to exist. I don't understand it, but for some reason, some of the elected officials in New York have opted to remain silent, saying, it's too complicated. We won't touch this issue. It's too complicated. Let me tell you something. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict might be complicated in some ways, but it should not be complicated to stand on the right side of history right now. It should not be complicated to condemn Hamas terrorism. It should not be complicated to affirm the right of Israelis to protect themselves from these attacks. And it should not be complicated to demand the unconditional and immediate release of all the hostages from this terrorist group. Elected officials of New York, hear me out right now. We have 3 demands, and they are very simple. Number 1, condemn Hamas. Number 2, declare Israel's right to defend itself. And number 3, speak loudly for the return of 200 hostages that are suffering in Gaza right now. This is not the last that you've heard from the American-Israeli community. This is not the last you've heard from the Jewish community of New York. Today we are one. Today we are strong. We are resilient. We shall overcome. Am Yisrael Chai. Bring them home.
Bring them home. Our tears turn to anger. Our anger turns to action. And that is what we all must do as we gather. Our thoughts and prayers must be paired with action from each and every one of us. It is now my honor to introduce and invite to the stage Michal Kutler-Wunsch, the former member of Knesset and now currently Israel's special envoy to combat anti-Semitism. This war against Hamas is a war against anti-Semites who try to kill us. Michal, strengthen us with the work you do, the power of your words, and please with a hug.
I swore never to be silent whenever and wherever human beings endure suffering and humiliation. We must take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormentor. Those are the words of Elie Wiesel, the words that saw horrors too terrible to believe, but not too terrible to have happened. The words that could not have imagined that October 7th, we would see the worst atrocities perpetrated against our people in our homeland since the Holocaust. And so I got on a plane to come here to tell you that we are at war. We are at war to which each and every one of us is deployed. My 3 children in the army, many children of your families and your friends in the army. But we are all at war. Israel's entire population is at war. Civil society supporting the families of those abducted, going to shivas and funerals around the clock. The funerals that I went to burying my best friend's son in a week that we buried more friends' children and more children's friends than the heart can take. And I came here to tell you that you are boots on the ground in another war, in the unconventional war for public opinion, in which the same anti-Semitism that fueled the genocidal terror war crimes of October 7th, that same genocidal terror here in New York City, on the streets of Melbourne, on the streets of Germany, on campuses, on social media platforms, that same anti-Semitism enables people to deny, to explain, to excuse, to justify the horrors that murdered and raped and bludgeoned and burned babies and abducted 200 people, babies, Holocaust survivors, children, mothers, fathers. And so I came here to ask you, don't look away. Don't look away from those pictures. Sound your voices. We are at a point where we have a state. We have sovereignty. We have an army. Not like on the day that we mark this Simchat Torah for thousands of years when Jews only had a Torah, when Elie Wiesel tormented, knowing that silence is complicity. Speak up. Sound your voices. Be the boots on the ground wherever you are. Fight anti-Semitism in its current mutated form of anti-Zionism. Do not stop until we return every one of those incredible, beautiful faces. And don't look away. Don't be silent. Know that hope, as the late Rabbi Sachs taught us, requires action and requires courage. With moral clarity and courage, we will be able to win this war. That is not just a war on our nation state, the ancestral homeland to which we returned after thousands of years of exile and persecution. It's not just an assault on Jews and their murder and their bludgeoning and their kidnapping. It is an assault on our shared humanity. It is an assault on civilization by genocidal terror that is committed to the annihilation of Israel, to the murder of Jews, and to the destruction of the world as we know it. So stand together, stand united, speak up with action and with courage. Thank you.
We talk of resilience, the resilience of our people. They have attacked us with pogroms, they have attacked us with genocides, they have attacked us with the Shoah, the Holocaust, the Farhud, the Inquisitions, the terrorism. We survived them then, we survive them now. Our existence is resistance. And we always, always connect back to our peoplehood and to our prayers of who we are. To lead us in a prayer, I now invite Rabbi Uriel Vigler, the founder of Belev Echad, the rabbi of Chabad Israel Center of the Upper East Side.
After the Yom Kippur War and its terrible losses, Rabbi Lau, who became the chief rabbi of Israel, came to see the Lubavitcher Rebbe in 770 Eastern Parkway, Brooklyn, New York. And the Rebbe asked him, what is the mood like for the people in Israel? And Rabbi Lau said, people are asking on the streets, what will be? And the Rebbe looked at him, and the Rebbe says, a Jew does not ask what will be. A Jew asks, what can I do? And this is our response today. We've had terrible, terrible losses, but we ask today, what can we do? The darkness that Hamas spread into the world can be countered by the light that we can share. Our brothers and sisters need our help, and there's something we can do by sharing light, by doing a mitzvah. When we commit to putting on tefillin, we are helping our soldiers in Israel. When we light Shabbat candles, when we keep Shabbat, when we keep kosher, we are helping our hostages who are languishing in Hamas right now. There's a website we've set up, onemitzvah.com/Israel. Every 5 seconds there's another mitzvah committed by a Jew around the globe. So I ask of you all here today to commit to doing one mitzvah, and we will counter Hamas and the darkness with a light that we will spread from Times Square to the entire universe. Join me in saying a Perek Tehillim. Please recite with me. The power of prayer is infinite. With the power of prayer, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will listen to it and help our brothers and sisters in Israel. Everybody together. Shir Lama'alot, Es Einai Le'arim, Ein Yavo Ezrim. עזרי מעם אדוני עושה שמיים וארץ אל ייתן למות רגליך אל ינום שומרך הנה לא ינום ולא יישן שומר ישראל אדוני שומרך אדוני צילך על יד ימינך יומם השמש לא יככה וירח בלילה אדוני ישמורך מכל רע ישמור את נפשך אדוני ישמור צאתך ובואך מעתה ועד עולם. עם ישראל חי.
Thank you all for joining us in unity tonight to bring them home. While I sing this final song, you will see on the screens families of the hostages pleading to bring them back. And we will. Shir Lamalo Esaina Yelearim
עזרי מהשם עושה שמיים וארץ, אל יתן למות רגליך, אל ינום שומרך, הנה לא ינום ולא ישן שומר ישראל, השם שומרך, השם צילך, על יד ימינך, יומם השמש לא יככה, וירח בלילה, השם ישמורך מכל רע, ישמור את נפשך, השם ישמור צאתך ובואך, מעתה ועד עולם, מעתה ועד שיר למעלות, אשא עיניי אל ההרים, מאין יבוא עזרי, עזרי מהשם עושה שמיים וארץ, אל יתן למות רגליך, אל ינום שומרך, הנה לא ינום ולא ישן שומר ישראל, השם שומרך, השם צילך, על יד ימינך, יומם השמש לא יככה, וירח בלילה, השם ישמורך מכל רע, ישמור את נפשך, השם ישמור צאתך ובואך, מעתה ועד עולם, מעתה ועד עולם.
תודה רבה. Thank you.
Uncle of Nitzan Liebstein, who was wounded and lost contact from Kibbutz Kfar Gaza.
I am Or Gat, the son of Kibbutz Be'eri. I am the brother of Carmel Gat, who was kidnapped from the kibbutz.
I'm Yael Eshel. I'm the sister of Ronnie Eshel, who was kidnapped from Nahal Oz.
I am Dana Shem Tov.
I am Amit Shem Tov.
We are the brothers of Omer Shem Tov.
Omer Shem Tov has been kidnapped from the Nova Festival.
I am Ronnie Elbag. And I am Shai Elbag. And we are the sister of Liri Elbag, who was kidnapped from Nahal Oz.
I am Ofri Bibas, the sister of Erdan Bibas, sister-in-law of Shiri Bibas, and the aunt of Ariel and Kfir Bibas. All were kidnapped from Kibbutz Nir Oz.
I am Gal Dalal, and I am the brother of Guy Dalal, who was kidnapped from Nova Festival.
I am Merav Raviv, the niece of Ruti and Avram Munder, and the cousin of Keren Munder and their son Ohad, who were kidnapped from their house in Kibbutz Nir Oz.
I am Irit Regev.
And I am Ilan Regev.
We are the parents of Maya and Itai Regev,
who were kidnapped from the Nova Festival.
My Mia, my beautiful baby, we all saw you. I saw that your wound was being treated. All this time I knew you were okay because you are the strongest person I know. I am wrapping my arms around you from here and feel your heartbeat vibrating through me. All of us mothers and families are doing everything in our power together to get sign from you and to bring you all back home. מימי, חיים שלי, אני אוהבת אותך.
מבקשת שיחזירו אותי הביתה כמה שיותר מהר, למשפחה שלי, להורים שלי, לאחים שלי. בבקשה תוציאו אותם מפה כמה שיותר מהר. בבקשה. תודה.
And there is someone else here.
Miush, I love you very, very, very much.
מה קורה?
אבא ירובי! אבא ירובי! אבא ירובי!
לא יודע, איפה את?
אני לא יודעת, אבא הורג אותנו! אבא הורג אותנו! פושע גזע!
מה, איפה אתם? יואו, ממי, צריכים מיקום. תתחברו, תמצאו מקום, תתחברו.
אבא, אני אוהבת אותך, אנחנו בתוך הרכב, אי אפשר לצאת.
אני יוצא לכיוון שלכם עכשיו, צריכים מיקום. אני בא, ממי, צריכים מיקום, אלוהים.
These recordings, these videos, the stories of our people are embedded into our minds and into our hearts. I call out the name of Moran Stella Yanai and Hirsch Goldberg Poland, two of the hostages that I know. And I call out to each and every one of you, those of you who are here and those of you who are too afraid to show up. The next steps are ours. The next steps are ours together. Thank you so much, every single one of you, for showing up here today. Keep showing up. And for those too afraid to show up, we will strengthen you to show up for us. Am Israel Chai. Thank you, everyone. Am Israel Chai. Have a good night, everybody, empowered by our strength, our solidarity, and our belief in the future. Am Israel Chai. Thank you.